Welcome to another episode of Payday 3 Map Making Guide. In this episode, we're going to be going over player triggers. So there's mainly two different types of player triggers. There's the player trigger volume. So this is just a generic trigger that when you walk into it, it will trigger something. As well, there's also the player escape volume. So while both of these are pretty similar, they're actually quite different. This one can trigger anything, and this one, when you step into it, it does the little icon on the top of your screen saying there's X out of Y players in the escape zone, and when all the players are in there, it'll start counting down. So you don't want to use the player escape volume for anything other than escaping, hence the name. So I've already removed the old one here, and I'm just going to set up these new ones. So for the player escape volume, I'm actually going to have it encompass the entire van just like you would see in a normal heist. But for this guy, I do want to place it behind the van here. If you didn't know, this is the BP escape van from map units. So what I'm going to have it do is pretty much when you walk behind the van, the doors of the van are going to open up. So you throw the bags in. Awesome. So we've set up both of them. For the player trigger, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's mainly just, do you have it enabled by default, and do you want it disabled when someone interacts with it? And then there's the disable when all players are inside. Obviously, because we don't have P2P, we can't really test this one. But assumingly it would be like when all players are inside, it would disable and interact, allowing you to wait for all the players to get to a location before doing something. Similarly, in the player escape volume, there's the same variables down here that you can use, but there's also a couple more. Main one is just you can set the escape time duration to whatever you want. So if you want, you can put it really high, so it can be like sort of like a last stand sort of deal. But the default is 3 seconds, and that's plenty of time. What we're going to do if we go into the level blueprint, so what we want it to do is we don't want this enabled by default. We want it to enable when the bags start to spawn. So that would be right here. The bags start to spawn, and call the function set volume enabled to true. Then we're going to set the function begin overlapping. Perfect. So this one is, if it begins overlapping, there's also the all players overlapping, which again we can't detect, or if the player stops overlapping. So that's if they leave. I also forgot I want to have the van. It's actually a thing, spawn van. So I'm gonna have the van spawn at the start. Then if you go to my van here, you'll actually notice there's nothing to say open the doors. That's because you gotta do it a different way. If you go and grab the escape van, you can get the van ref. So this is the escape van reference. So this is gonna reference the actual escape van that it spawns in, not this, which is just a dummy. So from here, we can then just type in door, and then hit set door state. So this will set this door state of the van itself, and we want to do back left and the back right. Want to open both of them, and then all I did inside was I added the bag trigger volume inside, and then I just got to fix this because this is the old escape trigger volume, and we can just reference the new one. So again, even though it says player target is player trigger volume, it is the escape volume, because again, the component is the same, just it adds some extra code that does something else. And we do on escape timer done, and so this code right here, this is how you escape. So after the escape timer is done, so that 3-second timer is done, it doesn't automatically end the mission. So what Starbreeze does is they add a little bit of delay, so that's why there's that 1 or 2 seconds where you don't have your HUD and you're just standing there. And then it goes to a request mission end. And from here, the target needs to be the get game state machine. And you request data, you just make the Starbreeze end mission data request. And you can set it to success, fail, or anything else. If you want, you can do the same thing right here, these three. And you can set it to fail if you want to have a fail state in your heist. Alright, now let's test it out. Alright, so as you can see, I've already got it set up. And so what we can do is we can grab the bags. And if we walk up to the van will open. We can throw the bags in, and then we can save it. Easy as that.